All right, hello Pipe Wrench. I'm going to do a little tutorial for everybody on how do you use the sold hour graph for each technician and for the department. So you'll notice right here, the plumbing service department. This is for the plumbing service department. I have one over here for the HVAC service department. All right. And so basically this is from the profit pricer. So the plumbing service department is looking for 3.2 hours in a day. So you'll put the technician's name up here and how many sold hours they basically sold for the day. Now understand that this line 0 equals 3.2 hours. So in this case, let's say day 1, the technician sold 3.2 hours, okay? You would put a dot right here on the line. And that's where he hit. So he hit his target. Okay. Now, let's say what's he do tomorrow? Let's copy that. And let's say he jumps up to 4 sold hours. Okay. So you're at 3.2 here. Closest I can get you here is 3.75. So I'll come over here and put a dot here at 75, 3/4 of an hour. Higher than this, that's 4.9. So you might want to put a little higher than that right here. And I'm going to have to jump up here and insert some of my non-technical skill. And that is, how do you create a dot? And I guess that's how you do it. All right. And so I'm just going to move that up and over. So it's just a little bit over 3.75. So now I see something going up. But now let's just say, third day rolls around and, as the saying goes, stuff happens. So let's just say only generated 1 sold hour for the day. Okay, so that would be a 2.2 target on day 3. And you'd come up here to 2.2. And you'd put a little circle right down here. All right. Now from there, you might want to start tracking the lines. So, and this will all be done by paper because this is going to be on the wall. So it's going to be less cumbersome than me doing it here on the computer. And so now we're starting to get an idea of what's going on. And we just continue to do that on a daily basis. Understand that everything at the line is fantastic and above the line is super fantastic. Below the line is kind of like, what happened? So we want to make sure that everything's, nothing's perfect, okay? So we might be ranging in here every once in a while. And even if your whole week or your whole month, it's 23 days, if you have a dot on that line, you are hitting your target, okay? And you're making your 25% net from that technician, all right? So that's the part that this right here is right where we want to be. Now, if we can be up here, I applaud it. That's fantastic. If we're down here and we're hanging around down here, we need to start understanding why we're hanging around down here. And hopefully we can fix it, okay? So if there's 0 sold hours, that will actually go to 3.2. So the most you could go down is right to here anyway. So these pieces right here, you can't sell less than you already have, than you're supposed to do. So I just picked up on that. So anyways, that would be the target, and that would be a 3.2 target there too. So let me just change that for you. Yeah, I seem to have lost my mouse, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Been working it hard all day. So there's a 3.2. So if you did nothing for the day, no sold hours, then the dot would be down here on this line. All right. And then if you have any leads that are generated to another department from these techs, that's cool. And that gives them a reason for being below the line as well, because they're basically giving an installation job away to another department. So I'm not definitely going to penalize them for that. Matter of fact, I get something for lead generation. Okay, so we go from there. We'll actually credited hours for the lead generation for them as well, because that's built into our, it's built in to our unproductive time by giving lead generations away to another department. But overall, we're still looking at a 3.2 for the day. But if he's a lead generation magnet and everything he does is lead generation, I'm going to pat this guy on the back, okay? Because what he's done is he's taken an $800 job and turned it into a $10,000 job. So we're okay with that, okay? And I hope you are too. And so the same thing is going to be true for the HVAC service department. It's right here. Now the service department goal is a little bit less than the plumbing. And I'll talk to you why that is in a minute, but it's 3 hours. Okay. So that's a 3 hour goal. So this line right here for the HVAC techs is 3 hours. When they've hit 3 hours for the day, we're doing great. Now, the same is true here. We have technicians that turn over leads to salesmen. If they have zero, if they're down here sitting at 3, and I'll take these things out right now that I'm seeing them. Okay. If they're sitting down here at 3 and they're not generating sold hours, but they're turning over 3 leads, I'm not going to be unhappy, and neither will you, okay? Because we're basically trading a $500 ticket for a $15,000 ticket, okay? So we should be good with that. And that's why this says plumbing up here, is because I got lazy and I didn't put in what it was supposed to be. It's HVAC. HVAC. Okay. I was just copy and pasting. So anyways, that's where that goes. And then again, put the technician's name up here. Oops. Let's just say it's Jim. All right. And then you come down here to your department and you add up all your sold hours for your graph for the department. And now you want to, you know what your department is, your department goal is. So it's based off of the number of techs. I'll just put that in here. Number of techs. What happened there? Number of techs times your 3.2 hours daily. Okay? So that's what number is going to go up here. Oops. Now your profit pricer is going to be able to tell you, what is going on here? Your profit pricer is going to be able to tell you what is the targeted number of sold hours for the department. And that's what we want to put in here. And that'll be in the MP11 tab on your profit pricer. You'll get all these sold hour targets on the MP11 tab of the profit pricer. And you'll want to just type that in here. So let's say you got 10 technicians, then you're going to be looking for 32 sold hours today. And I just messed that up, didn't I? Typed right over it. All right. Type it in up here, make it easier. All right, that's 32. All right, so now that's the target, and that's what this line is about right here. So if we've hit 32, you'd put a dot right here on that line. If you did 35, you'd put, or 42, you'd put a dot up here on the 10. Okay, if you went below, you'd put a dot below that as well. So it just gives you an idea, and perhaps this should be broken down to smaller numbers. And if that's the case, let me know. Matter of fact, I'm thinking I'd like to see that a smaller number there. So I'm going to change that before I send this to you. And those will be smaller numbers, so it won't be such a pain in the butt putting it halfway or a tenth of the way up. So I'll create that. I'll fix that for you. Okay? We'll go from there. So then we jump. These are the departments again. So we got the same department for HVAC. We know how many sold hours we need for the HVAC as well. So we have one for the department and then a bunch of them for the techs. Okay? So managers, you need to be looking at both. Are we hitting our number as a department? And if not, or if even so, look for the guys you can praise. Okay? that are doing a great job. Pat these guys on the back. Work with the other guys. Train the guys that aren't hitting their goals. Okay? And praise them as well. Encourage them along the way. You know, the key here is we need people in this business. The last thing we want to do is lose anybody. Managers, your job, train them up. Okay? You're managing them, train them up. So that's where you see guys down below the line. Maybe they don't quite understand the service system, or they don't understand the 6 steps and they're not performing the 6 steps of the service system. It's very important that they understand the 6 steps of the service system. My favorite step is the explore step, because that's where we can maximize the number of hours that we can sell as a technician. Because if we're not doing that explore step and taking Mrs. Jones along with us, we can't add on anything except for what Mrs. Jones talked to us about. So when we're asking questions in that explore step, it's very, very important that everything that comes out of our mouth as a technician is a question, so that Mr. or Mrs. Jones makes all the statements. You know, people that talk, they love to hear somebody talk about them, so it's our job to listen. And we don't want to do the talking. We want the customer to do the talking. That's why we're always asking questions. Everything we say to a customer should end in a question mark. For instance, you know, you go to the main issue why you were called out. Let's say it was a kitchen sink faucet. And, you know, you say, well, Miss Jones, I got a great idea of what we can do here. Do you know where your main water shutoff is? Because it's important as a plumber to understand where the main water shutoff is anytime we're working on anything plumbing. Okay? So it's a natural question to ask the customer. So, do you know where your main water shutoff, Mrs. Jones? Yeah, it's right down the steps here. I said, oh, okay, great. Can you show me? And most likely they won't want to show you. Okay? They'll come up with some excuse saying, well, you know, I got the kids I got to deal with. You know, I got to make a phone call. I got to run over to the neighbor's house, you know, and all this stuff. Said, no problem, Mrs. Jones. This is an important question you asked next. Remember, everything coming out of our mouth is a question. Do you know where your main, it's downstairs. Yeah, I know where it's main down. I'm sorry, I skipped over that. I'll cut that out. So the next question you want to ask is, if I notice anything, what would you like for me to do? That's a very important question to ask, because they respond. They have to respond on that. And most likely they're going to say, well, yeah, let me know about it. No problem. So now you just got permission to bring Mrs. Jones downstairs as you go down and verify that you can turn the water off, and looking up and around and see if there's anything there. If the valve is stiff, that's something to talk to the customer about. If you're not seeing a water softening system, that's something to talk to the customer about. If you're seeing some corrosion, that's something to talk to the customer about. If you're seeing a self-tapping valve with some corrosion, that's something to talk to the customer about. If they have a water heater, which I'm sure most 100% of them do, you might want to be asking a question when they're down there. Mrs. Jones, I noticed the water heater. Do you ever run out of hot water? Everything coming out of our mouth is a question mark, because all the answers that the customer gives us is our finding. That's what we're finding out, and we're writing on our finding sheet. Our observations and finding sheet. Our observations are what we see. Our findings are what we hear from Mrs. Jones. And by understanding that, that's how we build a ticket. Okay? So I'll end it at that, and there's a lot of training that goes along with that. And Nexstar Service System's absolutely fantastic about it. And I'm very passionate about it too. So anyways, guys, this is the tracking piece that we're going to discuss on Thursday. So get your questions ready, and please watch this before Thursday. Of course, if you're not watching this before Thursday, you won't know that I'm asking you to watch it before Thursday. So I'm hoping you do watch it before Thursday. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the email. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and I look forward to talking with you.